Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from CES 2024 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining me to kick off coverage, we have Daniel Newman, CEO of Futurum, to discuss the technologies that are the focus at CES and why this year will not just be about AI, but also AI. Daniel, it is great to see you no matter where we are on the planet. Welcome back to TradeTalks. I want to talk about some of the trends that you're seeing here, and one of the focuses that you think are going to be AR and VR are going to be a highlight here.
Yeah, you know, Apple did one of its typical news drops. They don't necessarily play at CES, but they love to drop news around CES. And you saw they came out with the general availability, starting to take orders for the new Vision Pro. And Vision Pro and Apple and this whole metaverse and this AR VR space has been kind of waiting for the Apple moment. It's the moment in which someone comes up and says, this is going to go from kind of proof of concept to mainstream market. Meta's been trying for a long time. You know, you recently heard there's been partnerships. Qualcomm came out with a new chip just last week, their new XR Gen 2, V2 Gen 2. I don't know if I got that part right. But now Samsung's committing, Google's committing. And so what I'm saying is you're starting to say, we're going to hit this era. And by the way, AI is going to help power that, because you're going to be creating these AI powered experiences that are going to be living in your peripheral. And Jill, it's all about lighter weight, which is the one thing I think Apple has gotten wrong.
Yeah, well, for our audience who might not have been at CES before, I know my first year covering it last year, it's massive, it's shocking, it takes over all of Las Vegas, the convention center, Venetian, all the other hotels here. The part that we happen to be in is the auto hall. So we have electric vehicles, all the battery makers, all the components that go into the EVs themselves. So it feels like everything is auto here, but I have to tell you, most of the pitches that I got were around EV and batteries and you know, the technologies that are improving them. What do you expect to see as the key themes within the auto space?
Well, of course we're going to see next generation ADAS, right? We're going to go from what we're kind of at is like L2, which is driver assist. Most people are experiencing this every day, you know, where the car kind of gets you back in the right lane. It's using cameras, it's using sensors, it's using safety, but we're going to be moving towards more and more autonomy, right? We're going to be moving towards fully electrified vehicles with sensors, multiple sensors, LiDAR, vision, radar, that are going to be able to drive for you. And we've heard about this for a while. This isn't brand new, but we're seeing it come to fruition. We're seeing it becoming more price effective. And by the way, we're seeing a broader swath of vendors, right? Because we know the Tesla play. We know some of these born on cloud, born on software-defined vehicle plays, but we're talking about BMWs, you're talking about Ford, you're talking about all these companies are partnering with Qualcomm and Intel and NVIDIA to build cars that are going to be smart, electrified, and totally autonomous in the coming years.
What about spatial computing?
Spatial computing, I mean, that really does fall into that kind of that AR VR space. So we are seeing an era of, you know, can we live in this physical world, Jill, and concurrently have our digital experiences at the same time? I love it for things like health technology, right? You know, one of the things that's always been a big theme here at CES has been healthcare and wearables. Well, the idea of maybe wearing a lightweight glass that can provide you real-time health data while you're working out, you know, while you're looking at your watch for the heart rate, can it just be right up in your peripheral? Can you be seeing experiences where you're being told, push it here, slow down there? That's like health. And of course, safety health, like things like the EKG systems, you know, just having that data immediately available in your periphery. And then other areas like shopping. I mean, we saw the NCAA championship football game last night. What if you could be on the sideline? I mean, what if you could put a wearable on, bring yourself right onto the 50-yard line and be watching the game like you're there? And that's the kind of experiences that companies are thinking about with next generation spatial computing.
And when we, on the open here, we're saying it's not just about AI, it's and AI. AI is everything.
It is, absolutely. I mean, you know, we're starting to see the data from IoT, for instance, so smart city, AI, driven experiences, cars, right? Generative AI experiences in your car. I don't know about you, Jill, but like, I think last week I was in my daughter's car, and my daughter's car had a sensor light come on. And by the way, I love cars, but I don't always know what those sensor lights mean. What if you could just, you know, you can make a phone call by talking to the car, but what if you could talk to the car, it had full access generatively to the data of the manual of the car could explain to you back, do I need to stop right now? Is this a real problem? And these generative AI experiences, so you're going to see this autonomy plus real world AI, even if it's just mapping, like, hey, I'm hungry for this kind of food. Can the car tell me safely without picking up a device, oh, there's a Panera Bread down the street if you're looking for a sandwich and soup. The generative interactions that can happen, it's AI plus ADAS, AI plus IoT.
Which is so interesting because as the end user, we don't even think about it in the technical terms, we just care about it working. Right, so that's why it's so amazing about the technology, as complex as it is, when you think about how it can make everyday life easier. To your point, reading directions about the car is like reading stereo instructions. It means nothing to me unless I know I'm safe or I'm not safe.
Yeah, most people don't know the difference from a CPU and a GPU and an MPU. You're hearing about AI PC, one of the biggest trends here. But all people really want is, can I run a large language model on my PC, whether or not I'm connected to the cloud? And you hear companies like Intel and Qualcomm and AMD, all the chip companies, ARM, and then HP and Lenovo, they've all announced these AI PCs. And it's all about basically people want ubiquitous experiences with AI. On the cloud, not on the cloud, does it work?
All right, Daniel, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. And thanks for joining me from CES. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.